Assalamu alaikum. In today's video, we are going to discuss the Franco-Prussian War, which was fought between the French Second Empire and the North German Confederation from 1860 to 1861. This Franco-Prussian War was actually the continuation of the German Unification Wars, which have been discussed in detail in our previous video. In that previous video, we had learned that after the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, North German Confederation was established in Germany under the leadership of Prussia. So the war under consideration in today's topic was fought between French Second Empire and the North German Confederation led by Prussia. France was quite upset with the establishment of the North German Confederation in Germany as an outcome of the Austro-Prussian War of 1866 because its eastern frontiers were now relying to those German states which were being led by Prussia, which was a source of continuous threat of Prussian invasion of France. So France demanded Prussia to take her hands off of the northern German states and make them independent. Of course, this was not at all acceptable to Prussia, and it refused the French offer. This diplomatic failure of France led to increased pressure from the French population on their king Napoleon III, who was Napoleon Bonaparte's nephew. Another major reason which led Napoleon III to think of options other than diplomacy to deal with Prussia was the candidacy of the Spanish crown. In the aftermath of 1868 Spanish Revolution, when the Spanish Queen Isabella II was ousted from the crown, a Prussian prince, Prince Leopold, who happened to be a relative of the Prussian King, came to the forefront as a strong candidate for the Spanish crown. Prussian Chancellor Otto Bismarck and the caretaker leader of Spain, Juan Prim, courted Prince Leopold to accept the Spanish crown. This development further infuriated France as it feared envelopment from the east and west by Prussia. Although Prince Leopold later backed down from the candidacy of the Spanish crown under the French diplomatic pressure, but the Prussian king, William I, strongly rejected the French ambassador's demand that the king should promise that he would never allow Prince Leopold to be a candidate for the Spanish crown in future as well. The letter containing Prussian king's reply to this French demand was cunningly modified by the Prussian Chancellor Otto Bismarck, using disgraceful remarks for the French king. Bismarck's intention was to lure France into war against Prussia. In that scenario, the four South German states, namely Bavaria, Württemberg, Baden and Hesse, which were independent until then and were the only German states left to ally with the North German Confederation, would fear French invasion and would eventually support the North German Confederation against France. In short, the purpose was to portray France as an aggressor and monster of the region and court the South German states into alliance with the North German Confederation for eventual unification with the Confederation. France fell into Bismarck's trap. French public considered the latter was humiliation of their emperor and demanded revenge. France eventually declared war against Prussia on 19 July 1870. Soon after the declaration of war by France against Prussia, all four South German states declared their alliance with the North German Confederation in the war. Bismarck's aim was half achieved. As a result of mobilization from both sides, the Second German Army under the Crown Prince Frederick Charles faced the French Army of Rhine led by Marshal MacMahon at Wissembourg, resulting into French withdrawal from Alsace. Meanwhile, the French main army under Marshal Bazaine came under attack of Prussian forces from the heights of Spickeren, in which the Prussian forces faced heavy losses. Prussian aim of this attack was to pitch its two first and second armies between two French armies, in order to allow the second German army under the Crown Prince Frederick Charles to outmaneuver the French army of the Rhine, led by Marshal MacMahon, and reach Paris directly. Resultantly, a massive encounter battle took place at Mars-la-Tour on 16 August 1870. As a result, Marshal Bazaine withdrew his army towards north instead of west, further increasing the chances of his encirclement by Prussian forces. 2 days later, on 18 August 1870, the opposing forces again faced each other at St. Privat and Gravelotte. But despite initial successes, the French Marshal Bazaine withdrew his forces towards Metz, allowing the Prussians to trap him there. Encirclement of the French army at Metz represented serious political setback for Napoleon III, which jeopardized his political career. In order to save his waning prestige, he collected all the remnants of the French forces and dispatched them under the command of Marshal MacMahon. He himself accompanied the expedition force. Napoleon III and Marshal MacMahon chose to approach the Prussian forces along the Belgian frontiers from the north. But this lost French hope was also defeated at Sedan, along with surrender of the French army and the capture of the emperor. However, there was still another twist in the tale, as a new republican government had taken oath in Paris, and it announced universal conscription to continue the war against Prussia. Universal conscription is a term which implies forced joining of the military by each adult male of the nation. You might have heard in the news recently that during ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, the same conscription was also announced by Russia. The French conscription, though, provided them with a good number of fighting power, but these boys were not soldiers in any way, since neither they attained the basic military training nor the knowledge of operating weapons. So, after clearing the Metz pocket, Prussian forces turned towards Paris and besieged it. As a result, a fierce bombardment of Paris by Prussia, and losing all hopes of breaking the siege, the French government surrendered on 28 January 1871. And with the Treaty of Frankfurt, the war ended on 10th May 1871. The biggest reason of North German Confederation's victory under Prussian leadership in this war was the immaculate political strategy and the correct use of the circumstances by its Chancellor, Otto I Bismarck. By adopting aggressive posture at the right moment, he was able to attain Prussian strategic goals, because he exactly knew that the unification of all the German states was not possible without defeating France. If we talk about military power, Prussia was an even greater military power in 1870 as compared to its strength during its war with Austria in 1866. The war with Austria had honed the professional skills of the Prussian generals, staff officers and the soldiers. On the contrary, since France had not fought any major war since 1815, its army was somehow rusty. Although France was leaps ahead of Prussia in terms of technology, because of its chessboard rifle was way better than the Prussian needle gun. Additionally, France had a secret weapon, mitrailleuse, which was even unknown to the French generals outside a limited circle. However, despite these technological advancements, France could not benefit from them due to the absence of a sound staff and reserve system and experienced generals and statesmen. As a result of the French defeat in this war, in the light of the Treaty of Frankfurt, the French Second Empire was abolished and replaced by the French Third Republic. France also paid a heavy war indemnity to Prussia. The biggest impact this war had on future was the annexation of the two French regions of Alsace and Lorraine by Germany, which created permanent drift and enmity between the two countries. Another great strategic success of Prussia in this war was the unification of four remaining South German states into the North German Confederation after the war in 1871, hence finally uniting all the German states into one, and adopting the name of the German Empire in 1871. In the aftermath of World War I, this German Empire was converted into the German Republic in 1918 as a result of constitutional amendment, which we today know as Germany. As a consequence of this unification, Germany emerged as a great European power and became the reason of the two world wars in the future. If you like our video, you can watch previous videos of the same series using the playlist link being flashed on your screen now. And don't forget to subscribe our channel. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Goodbye.